All right. Hi there, friends. Back here with another Marketing Moment podcast with 454 Creative. I'm Chad Coltman, and I'm joined by our president and CEO, Paul Bresenden. And today, Paul, I'd love to just prick your brain a little bit around the topic of SEO. It's something that a lot of our clients ask about. It's a term that's thrown out there a lot. And so maybe to start, just kind of define for our listeners what is SEO and what's the value of it in a marketing playbook?
Got it. Um, yeah, SEO typically refers to the things that you do to show up organically in search. So when you search marketing agency in Orange County, if you rank at the top of that, those are the activities you do to show up at the top of the page without having to pay for an ad. The
Mm,
irony is most people tell us, hey, I never click on ads. I always scroll down to there. It's absolutely not true. 90%,
mm,
90% of the clicks happen to the first three ad slots that happen there. What I
mhm,
would say is that the way that we've thought about SEO in particular, um, I, I would argue that it's not true anymore. So there are
mm,
plenty of business owners that just have this aversion to paying for ads. And their response is, I would rather earn it and have the long-term effects of SEO than just buying an ad because for whatever reason, you don't like Google, you don't like the sort of mechanism of having to pay for every click. Unfortunately, Google has, and it's not just Google, it's Bing or whatever other platform, the human behavior, we've sort of hidden the view between what's organic and what's an ad.
mm,
And so, like I said, most of those clicks happen to the first links that are at the top of the page. And so, you could argue, SEO isn't relevant from that perspective. I don't think that's true. That's not the valid argument for not doing SEO. Ads themselves are built off of a relevancy score. And so the things that you do on SEO, unfortunately, are inextricably tied from ads and ads from SEO. Especially in a competitive environment, you won't rank unless what your page is optimized for, your website, and then specific service pages are optimized for, link up and are correlated with ads.
mm.
It doesn't mean you have to run ads. It just means that uh, you just have to be aware that SEO is just one of the tools in the toolbox. They're not substitutes. I'm either going to do ads or I'm going to do SEO. Oftentimes, those two things have to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So that's one. But then two, we tend to think of search like if I search for creative agency, right? We think that I rank number one. And so that understanding of SEO is dead as well. And so what I would say,
Mm,
just to kind of give a more nuanced view of this, we know that when we search for something that our searches are tailored to our browsing experience. So when I search
mhm,
for a restaurant, Google knows that I've been to it. If I'm looking for best pizza in Costa Mesa, it knows which pizza places I've been to because I've searched for them before. They're tied to my
mhm,
Google apps in my phone. All of that data is shared across. And so every person's search results are personalized to them. So when a business owner comes to us and says, I want to rank number one for this, right? Let's say credit union in Ventura County or a senior housing facility in a particular neighborhood in a geographic region, we have to realize that everybody's search results are different. And so when you get an SEO vendor that's going to tell you, we can help you rank number one for this, or we get a ranking report that says we're not, it doesn't take into account so many factors of what the real person is searching for. What is their previous browsing history? Where is their device located when they search? Because those are targeted
mhm,
to a specific IP address in a specific location. And so location based search becomes very critical to that. Um, uh, Other factors that go into it. Like Chad, you and I are friends.
mhm.
Google knows that. And so when
Right.
you go to a restaurant in Costa Mesa and you like it, or you've gone there multiple times, your browsing history and your physical phone's location in that restaurant affects my searches because
Mhm,
Google knows we're connected. There's OGraph data. There's a bunch of data that shows our social connectedness, and there's search has gotten so complex now. We get a flat report that says you rank number three for whatever term. And that all that assumes is that in some data warehouse, in some
mhm,
geographic location, at some warehouse, data warehouse, computer, sort of big processing center in LA County, there's a cookieless browser without any location targeting tied to it or a specific location target if you pulled a report for that says you rank number one in this region. So this becomes this like deceptive metric that thinks that we rank number one. So then I get a CEO calling me that says, hey, I just Googled this again, and our competitor is above us in this search result. And my first reaction is, well, stop Googling your competitors. Because if you are spending all of your time on a competitor's website and then you go search for the term, of course they're going to rank above you because that's what your browsing history has indicated.
Yeah.
So let's go back to how do we actually look at SEO then? Well, SEO has to be measuring something different. As a business owner, I never set the objective to say I want to rank number one. My desires are deeper than that. My desire is when somebody searches for this, this turns into an inquiry or a lead or revenue for me, right? And so SEO is really this leading indicator of, am I doing the right things to have more people see me, find me, like they get it, they see it, they want it, and then they end up coming to us and buying from us. And so SEO is one of those leading indicators that says, do I show up? And then does this filter into our lead gen, our growth model or revenue? That then, like, does this filter into the sales pipeline somehow? And so in the e-commerce environment, does this turn into more items in carts? In a professional service environment, does this turn into more inquiries, phone calls, whatever that's going to be, more leads in HubSpot? In a credit union environment, is this me showing up and somebody searching for a banking account, a high yield CD, some sort of other product that we have, and does it turn into more whatever those product applications are? Another auto loan, another mortgage application, whatever those things are. And so if we just measure SEO by organic search volume, unfortunately, SEO mentality in the industry is that we have to go so broad to get more traffic that's super broad. And so they don't ever filter down into the actual revenue part because they don't ever have access to that.
Yeah.
And so it's not hard for an SEO agency to just say, hey, the right strategy here is to go super broad because we'll capture some more of them. That's not normally true, right? You're going to get a lot of what we see often is either something that's tangentially related, but not directly connected to your customer set, your target audience. A good kind of crazy example of this, we were working with a major university here in Southern California, and we were doing an SEO audit, what's actually yielding the results that you're looking for. And one of the things that we just smacked us right in the face just a few minutes into it is that a huge number, they had 80% of their SEO traffic was coming from two sources. One, it was related to a APA style guide. If you're a college student, you have to write a college essay. The APA style guide was actually put out and kind of reformatted by one of their English professors, and all these other universities linked to it. So that was huge traffic. The other big traffic source was a ShoreTel phone system manual that their IT department put out publicly for their employees. It says, here's how to use our phone system. Well, their phone system was old. So ShoreTel, the manufacturer of these phones, didn't offer that manual anymore, and so everybody found it off of this university's website.
That's so
Two
funny.
massive traffic sources from SEO that were unrelated to their revenue model, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else that's looking for that phone system doesn't want to apply to that university. Everybody that's already in university looking for that APA style guide wasn't looking for that university. And so now as we look at their SEO traffic, which marketing leader wants to come to their board and say, hey, if I remove these, we're going to see an 80% drop in traffic.
Right.
Does that benefit us in the slightest bit? We can show them that it didn't. You could make the argument that college students might want to transfer, but we looked into that. We didn't see any of that activity.
Right.
Oftentimes what we see happening is that SEO agencies are putting in stuff that's somewhat related but not tied to your target audience. And so if you're the marketing leader in evaluating SEO, getting a data set that says our organic traffic is rising doesn't always mean that you're achieving what the goal is out of doing SEO activities.
Right. Yeah, that's so
the
good.
way to measure this isn't growth in organic traffic. The way that we measure the success of a marketing tactic is does it lead more people, more contacts that flow to the next level? So
Hmm.
SEO would sit in a top of the funnel activity, right? This would be a suspect or some sort of like lead level, top lead level activity where I'm trying to create a contact that's coming through. And so we measure
Hmm.
the effects of SEO from a top of the funnel activity into a contact I've captured in the middle of the funnel stage, a marketing
Yeah.
qualified lead. And so
Yeah.
you can grow suspects all you want, visitors all you want from organic traffic. It's not effective. You don't give your SEO agency a high five unless it actually
Right.
yields more people reaching out to you and saying, hey, we're interested in this. A subscription to your podcast, professional resources that you put out that say, hey, this is the kind of work that we do, a white paper, a lead capture mechanism where they're walking into understanding your expertise, a credit card application, a request to demo your facilities or your services or your product. Unless they're taking the next step and saying, hey, I'm actually interested in you, don't give your SEO agency a high five. And so
Yeah.
oftentimes what we see in SEO reports is, well, here's your SEO results. You got more organic traffic. Or these are
Right.
the keywords now that we're seeing. It doesn't actually tell us this is the stuff you were going after. And
Yeah.
so the
That's really
second
good.
normal flaw that we see is you have to get very strategic. You have to pick the specific terms that you want to rank for. Don't let your SEO agency decide those. They can
Yeah.
help you pick the priorities. They can show you keyword search volume or competitiveness or average cost per click that's associated with those. They can give you direction on which ones to chase from a paid ads perspective versus an SEO perspective or which ones overlap. But don't just assume that they know everything that's going to happen for your business. You actually have to take a regular deep dive into this, at least quarterly or semi annually, and say, are the results we're getting related to what we want?
It's
And the
great.
same is true from ads, right? Like if you see, hey, we got more ad clicks, or the ad clicks are actually cheaper now, or a bunch of people called, right? Those goal conversion values may not matter to you if they're bidding on the wrong terms.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's one thing that a business owner could practically do if they're looking at their website and they realize, they have really poor visibility in search? What's like a practical next step that they could take?
The first thing I would look at is an audit, right? Get an
Hmm.
analysis of, like, if you haven't done an audit before, then get an audit and get a good understanding of, here are the things that are technically wrong with my website, and then get a prioritized list of how to go about fixing them. You don't all have to fix them all tomorrow. And really,
Great.
when people get an audit, what you're addressing is technical SEO, how your site is
Hmm.
coded, what your page titles are, is there image tags that tell, Google or search engine what this image is about. So all of
Hmm.
those things fit into an SEO audit. Functional SEO would be the next stage, and functional SEO is, okay, what are the priorities that I'm going after, and what kind of content do I need to create to just to get traction in that area? And so, coupled with an SEO audit, the next step would be at least an annualized keyword priority list. And this should
Hmm.
be a kind of a collaborative effort between you as a business leader and either your marketing agency, your SEO agency, your internal marketing leader, and saying, here's the terms we're going after, and here's why. Here's the ones we already won. We want to make sure that we rank for branded terms. Those are in our top 10. Here's our top 25. Here's our top 50. That's probably as much as you can do in the first year or two, uh, depending on how competitive your environment is. And once you start
Hmm.
checking the box and winning a bunch of those, you can expand that out to a top 100 or some other list.
That's
Those are
great.
the
Yeah,
first two
that's really
steps I would take.
helpful. Yeah, no, that's really helpful. I mean, I think it's good to kind of recognize there's a technical aspect to this in terms of just how our websites are built and how they function. And there's some really cool things that Google's given us access to, like structured data snippets, that help them kind of understand and index data in really creative ways. But then there's the functional, the human side to it. Are we putting out content that's relevant to our business? Is it good content? Is it compelling content? Is it going to earn a click? If it's if it results in search impressions. So I think that's great stuff to think about, and I think there's even a lot more we could talk about on the technical and the functional side. So maybe we'll save that for a future podcast.
Love it. Thanks, Chad.
All
This is
right.
so fun.
Thanks. Have a great day.